Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is doing great. My name is Mark Sebastian. I am the founder and CEO here at OptionPit.com. We are a top to bottom options financial publishing company, and we love what we do. We cover everything from big money flow to trading the VIX and volatility, zero DTE, you name it. And today I am here to react to what happened with Nvidia earnings and talk about not just Nvidia itself, but where the ramifications are across the entire trading spectrum. So my background, I was a floor trader on the American Stock Exchange in New York and the CBOE in Chicago for about 10 years. I then shortly thereafter started Option Pit, and we've been at it ever since. We have just celebrated our 15th anniversary just a few weeks ago. So we have been around for a long time. So let's talk about Nvidia to start. It's having itself a pretty nice afternoon. If we want to start sharing my screen. Here is what Nvidia did during the day, and then we can kind of see after hours now. So, pretty much kind of a flattish day. They sold a little bit off into earnings, so money taken off the table. And then post earnings, closed at 134. We reached a high of 143 and have come back down to 140. So what was said in Nvidia that got people so excited? Couple of things. Jensen Huang talked about full stack. So not just the GPU chip, but from start of chip to server to data center. Pretty interesting stuff. Talked about how AI is going to be leading in robotics and how important that is going to be. Was quite critical of our chip approach with the People's Republic of China. Had a lot of criticism for that. And then was just talking about data center revenue, it just kind of exploding, which it continues to do. All right. As we're looking right now, Nvidia is currently up about, call it $6, a rally of 4.35%. Going into earnings, the market was pricing in about a 6.4% move. So up at the highs, when over 143, pretty close to the expected move. But where it's trading now would be a little bit of a disappointment. Now, that being said, we're through the earnings themselves. We're through the conference call. The stock is up nicely. That is going to be bullish. What is it doing to markets? Well, obviously, Nvidia's biggest index it is a component of is the NASDAQ 100. And Nvidia is pushing the NASDAQ 100 overnight up about 0.2%. Obviously, it is a much smaller component of the S&P 500, but S&P 500's futures are up about 35 basis points, 20 points. Pretty interesting move. So what are the ramifications here? Well, Nvidia was kind of the last great earnings hurdle out there. And the fact that they were able to clear that hurdle, and if they're able to come in up on the day tomorrow, that is extremely beneficial to the market as a whole. All right. Now, I want to come back to Nvidia a little bit in a little bit. There was one other big earnings that came out after the close today, and that is in CRM. CRM after hours, they were pricing about a 7% move. After hours, it is not doing very much. It's about 1%. So not a lot happening there with CRM. So those are really, when you look at it, the last two major companies to report, right? CRM's worth, 265 billion. And obviously Nvidia, 3.3 trillion. I believe it's currently the second largest company in the world. And, this is going to drive things higher. Will also affect the Dow. Nvidia's in the Dow. Now, let's look at some of the more downstream players in Nvidia. Remember, they said they wanted to go full stack here. They wanted to go full stack. So what does that mean for some of the other providers in that space? Dell not really moving on it. AMD down $1.70 after hours. So the take is Nvidia's loss, or Nvidia's win is AMD's gain, or AMD's loss. Intel doing absolutely nothing after hours. Nothing out of Micron. SMCI getting a little bit of a boost. This could be an interesting one for the whole Nvidia full stack, right? Because remember, Supermicro delivers rack scale solutions optimized for various workloads, right? There's a potential relationship there. And, people were associating this stock with Nvidia not too long ago. We'll use blue. So remember, Supermicro had this big pop. Nvidia, obviously way more valuable, but Nvidia rallies, Supermicro gets this pop, a little pullback. Nvidia rallies again, Micro goes with it. But since then, you can see these pops do correlate. So you're saying to yourself, what's a backdoor cheapy way to potentially play Nvidia? Super microcomputer might be a fun one. All right, let's keep looking at some of the other names that are going to be involved with this, right? We've got Tesla and their robotics down about $6. So they don't like it as much for them. Meta, another big buyer. Flat. And, some of the other names that you might think about, like an Apple, not really doing much. So, the one thing you worry about with Nvidia, though, right? look at some of the times it's really performed well. So let's go back to like this time frame back here when it was going into its split. You don't get the same performance out of the market. The market kind of tends to kind of meander around. Now, we did rally, but just not the way you'd expect. And Nvidia can really hurt some of the other names in that space. We like to joke that it can be kind of a vampire and, suck the life out of AMD and some of the other some of the other pieces of it. So there's a narrative there that Nvidia up could be a real problem for the other chip makers out there. So that's just something I want you to kind of have in the back of your head as you are looking at the market as a whole. One more thing that is not fully related to this, but is, and this has been a big piece of what we've been talking about, has been the bond market. The treasury market affects the corporate market and so on and so on. And it also affects, that relationship between kind of Bitcoin and the dollar. There's a lot of pieces in here. And if yields do start to really climb here, that could actually have some negative effects on crypto and some other pieces that maybe aren't as big anymore, but certainly are problematic. And if rates go too high, you're going to start seeing it affect some of the data center issues that they have. So, I want to get to, so that's kind of your basics on NVIDIA. Going into today, I just want to show you something. We can look at whether there was any paper, which is another word for large money, large trades from big institutions. And, the biggest trades we saw, and this is interesting, were premium sales and then some cheapy out of the money calls for Friday. Kind of interesting trade and kind of an interesting trade. They were buying, the stuff that is like 2 standard deviations out of the money, looking for a really big move. That didn't happen. But what this sets up for tomorrow is I think we're going to open higher, and then there is a 7-year bond auction at 1 Eastern. So they're selling a bunch of 7-year notes, and we want to keep an eye on that auction. That's one thing that could, if it rolled bonds over, would be a real problem for the overall market. Okay, now I am seeing questions on, what happened today? Why did SPY sell off at the end of the day? What was different about today? And the answer, I think, has to do with a couple of things. I believe there was a little Trump statement that came out, but it really has to do with levels and zones that SPY trades in. And if you're saying levels and zones that SPY trades in, I'm talking about these strike zones. Now, what you're going to learn about today from Hannah and Vaz is going to really lay out why having strike zones is so important and where those strike zones can come in. Now, in one of the services that Vaz and I run called Trade to Close, we use shorter term SPY strike zones that we can trade into the end of the day. And I want to kind of show you, here's our trading that, we were using SPY strike zones, and I can show you a whole bunch of traders that did very well riding SPY or SPX down and turning 100, 200% profits. And now this is a little microcosm, but you're going to learn, I'm just showing a chart of movement. You're going to learn really a lot about why SPY, why these strike zones, how she sets them up, how she uses them, and why our traders like them so much. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about the market here in a second, but where is everybody coming in from? I'm coming from you here in Austin, Texas. And, I know we've got someone here. We've got people here from Denver. I'm guessing we've got somebody here from Boston. We have people, from all over the country. People from all over the world. So where are you coming from? Scottsdale, Arizona, Ann Arbor, Michigan, New York, Maryland, South Carolina, Seattle, Vancouver, Oregon. So, we've got people across every single time zone. Yes. I'll tell you unilaterally, this company is pro-Canadian minus one employee. And we keep trying, but it just doesn't seem to work. So welcome. We're glad you're here. And I think you guys be excited. You're going to learn a lot. Just to kind of give you a little heads up of who you're hearing from, here at Option Pit and at Trade to Close LLC, and two sister companies, we use something called CRM. And CRM stands for consistently profitable, repeatable, and CRT. CRM is a company. CRT. CRM is Salesforce I was just talking about. CRT. So it's consistently profitable, repeatable, and the T is for teachable. So consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. And that is a criteria we have implemented here at Option Pit and at Trade to Close to make sure we're providing you the best quality service that you can possibly get. We want you to feel excited when your live sessions are. We want you to feel confident when you're trading with us. And we want you to know that we're trading with you as well. So CRT is something that I really think has changed the way we deliver product at Option Pit. And frankly, the whole industry is looking at what we're doing and trying to figure out what makes what we do here at Option Pit so special and at Trade to Close so special. And the answer is CRT. Now, the inventor of CRT, that's our own Director of Product Development, Hannah Sellner. She is your advocate. She is the one making sure what we do is best for you. Not in just developing new product, but improving existing product. making sure every single service we put in front of you, trade to close, Delta Strike, whatever, every service we give to you is the best it can possibly be. And I love the implementation and the standards we're held to. So we go through months of live trading, testing strategies. We beta test with you guys, and then we work through them. It's a lot of fun. And then, so Hannah has developed that. She is really the one that has made sure that everything we do here at Option Pit meets our standards set by CRT. And I'm thankful that that she's there as your advocate. Now, for those of you that don't know Olivia Vaz, she is a volume profile specialist and a master of trading SPY strike zones. And what is a SPY strike zone? You're going to learn all about it today. But just let me tell you, this woman is floor trained on the New York Stock Exchange to trade this market. And in fact, her systems have produced some of the most consistently profitable returns we've seen. I've watched it repeat over and over again, and I've seen her teaching people how to do this themselves. And that's one of the reasons why I love what we're going to be talking to you about today. This one has passed CRT with flying colors, and we have hundreds of people interacting in chat, talking about trading, sharing ideas every single day. So that is what you're here to learn about. What are these strike zones, how to implement them, how to use them to change the way you trade. Vaz and Hannah will be here in a matter of minutes. But in the meantime, I just want to we can take a quick look at kind of what my expectations, what levers I'm still looking for in the overall market as a whole, right? If you're wanting to trade over the next month, what levers am I seeing? Well, SPX is, just not too far off its all-time highs. In order to do that, when you see bonds not hit new lows, we need the VIX to continue to soften up. And I want to see leadership out of some of the interest rate sensitive ETFs and stocks like IWM. And those are kind of the levers that we've been talking about over and over and over again. But the lever I kind of want to hit on just for a second is this one. This is VIX and the VIX futures curve. It's really kind of, think of it as how safe does the market feel? And when we have this curve that looks like this, down sloping toward the left, that's the market telling us it feels somewhat safe. What does that mean for trading? That means it makes SPY strike zones even more reliable and I believe this is the trend that we are heading to over the next few days and weeks. I think we're at the onset of, I do not believe the bond market's going to fall apart. I believe we're at the onset of what could be kind of a return to normalcy as we head into the summer. We could see volatility come in, and it will make these SPY strike zones easier and easier and easier. All right, SPY strike zones are already incredibly reliable. If you're wondering, why are we talking about it now? Because we're approaching what will be one of the most reliable periods to trade these and trade with these, probably through the end of the year. At a minimum into the fall. I feel extremely confident on that. So, who here is excited to be learning about SPY strike zones? I know I am. So, recapping what I discussed with you here in our Nvidia earnings special. Nvidia having a nice after-hours special, but not knock your socks off. Paper, big money wasn't overly bullish. All right. Nvidia is lifting stocks and lifting stocks after hours in the NASDAQ 100 futures and the S&P futures. But the question is, will it be a vampire for a lot of tech companies? Will it suck the blood out of some of these other tech companies? All right. After earnings come out, once the stock has taken a day or 2 or 5 to breathe, I will be looking to set up an earnings play around Nvidia sometime next week. But what I know Nvidia is going to set up heading into the coming days is a SPY strike zone. So Nvidia pushing markets higher. Levers we're watching. TLT, bonds. Do they continue to rally? We're watching VIX, seeing it continue to fall. We're watching the Russell 2000 and getting ready for looking for it to break out along with other interest rate sensitive names. And that, my friends, is what we're looking for in Nvidia, what we're looking for in the market. And, with VIX, why, as we return to this more calm nature, why strike zones are going to be even more reliable.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Anna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Somebody got a haircut today.
Yeah, well, all right, yeah. You hadn't seen me in a little bit. You had some, you had some issues over the last couple, let's say 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to bring them to this call, but raise your hand if you've ever had to deal with a house leak, because in the last 24 hours, that's what I've been doing. But it's okay. I am excited to be here tonight. Voz will be here in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Does anyone here know what a SPY strike zone is? Is anyone using them right now? If you are, send a message in the chat. Do any of you have a guess what a SPY strike zone is? I think Mark's talked about it a little bit, but I want to know what you guys know already or don't know about SPY strike zones. Tell me about it. While you're telling me about it, tell me where you're from. Mark is located in Austin. Mark, would you say that Austin is how are you liking living in Austin? You used to be a Chicagoan.
Well, I mean, you can take the man out of the city. You can't take the city out of the man. I enjoy living here. It's just because I love it over there doesn't mean I can't love it here.
Sure.
Right.
Did I tell you that so I live in Denver and we're getting 3 Portillos here.
That's exciting.
Did you know that?
I remember
excited.
You bringing that up, but I'm just so excited for you.
Me
You're going to
too.
be, between the beefs and the grilled chicken salad is phenomenal. It is absolutely
Any
phenomenal.
any fans of Portillo's here tonight? We here at Option Pit are huge Portillo's fans, not only for trading but also for eating. All right, seems we
Indeed.
have a range here. Some people use Spice Strike Zones to make money. I love that.
Mhm.
Yes, I am a Vozite. Love it. Any gamers here? Game planners? Let us know in the chat. Voz will be here in just about 2 minutes. Mark, we had Nvidia earnings released at the end of the day today.
Yes, we
You
did.
want to quickly give, we have some more people that have joined since you started talking about that. You want to give your take quickly for them on the response so far and what you're watching going into tomorrow?
Yeah, Nvidia is up. Markets were pricing at about a 6% move. It's up about 4.5%. So bullish, but not like ecstatically bullish.
Yeah,
The question I'm watching for tomorrow, I fully expect Nvidia to probably be up a little bit more tomorrow. People that can trade during the day will get excited and buy some. But I want to see if it acts like a vampire it has in the past and sucks money out of a lot of the other names like AMD or Intel,
sure.
Micron, Broadcom, even Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon and Apple.
Yeah.
Um, when it acts like a vampire, markets tend to just kind of waffle around. When it kind of pulls everything up with it, that could be part of the formula that gets us back above 6,000 the S&P 500.
Interesting. Okay, so we'll kind of see how it looks tomorrow, I guess, is the initial reaction. Mark likes to trade around earnings. So would are you going to be personally looking for a trade on Nvidia in the next week or
Oh,
so?
I plan on doing a post earnings special situation with
Nice.
Nvidia in the next 5 to 9 days, probably toward the middle-ish of next week.
Awesome.
And I'm looking forward to doing that trade in our special situations room.
That sounds great. Special Situations is a cool product. If you have any questions about that, or you would like to trade earnings, FOMC meetings, Fed events, you can always give us a phone call or email us here at Option Pit and ask for more info. Mark, thank you so much for warming up the audience here tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
I
It was
always
a
appreciate
blast.
seeing you before these events.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you and all that you do here advocating for our customers. Hannah is our director of new product development and product development as a whole. We run something called CRT. That stands for consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. Hannah is kind of the proctor of those three pillars that every product must pass here at Option Pit and at Trade to Close. And Hannah, it's changed things wildly for the better here, and I think everybody in the room that is a Option Pit trader, Option Pit customer appreciates what you've done to improve things around here.
We'll bring Vaz on in just a minute. I just want to say one thing about what Mark was just talking about. So, if you're a member here tonight, what does CRT, what does what he just said really mean for you? It should give you confidence in the strategies and products that you see here at Option Pit, because every single strategy that you see at one of these events or any strategy that we sell has been through a rigorous testing process, not a marketing testing process, not a how can we sell this process, but a quality control process. So, is this strategy actually consistently profitable? Well, what does that mean? We have to make sure it at least beats the S&P 500. That's what I'm looking for as our first test of a new strategy. Repeatable means, do I have ongoing opportunities to make money from this? So this is not a trade once a year, a trade once a quarter. It's an active strategy that I can actually generate money with. And then, is it profitable for anyone? Meaning, if you come into this knowing nothing about trading, can you actually learn how to do it? At the end of the day, that's the reason we're here. It doesn't matter if Mark can trade it. It doesn't matter if Andrew can trade it or Voz can trade it. That doesn't help you. It matters that you can do it. So, when we talk about something being CRT certified, it should give you extra confidence in the vetting process that goes into this before you actually see the product. So, quick translation for any of the newbies. Mark, thank you so much for warming everything up. I want to get started. And if the lady of the hour is here, let's pipe her in so everyone can meet Voz.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, Voz. I somehow
Hey.
knew you'd be wearing red tonight.
Yes, I wanted to show up, dress up. I want to pass the CRT. So
That's the only red you'll ever see associated with Vaz and game plan.
Couldn't be truer. Couldn't be truer.
All
Thanks so
right.
much,
Oh,
Mark.
God.
Everybody have a good night. Vaz and Hannah, I leave you in Hannah and Vaz's hands. They're going to take great care of you. I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go Panthers.
We did tonight a little early because Voz has a hockey game to watch after this. I'm going to try not to be too personally bruised about it because the Avs aren't playing anymore. But
I know.
we will get you guys in and out of here. We know that your time is valuable. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to make it worth your time tonight. So without without further ado, I'm going to pull up my screen and we are going to get started. Let me find this.
Thanks, Hannah, for having me on tonight. Hey, what's up, guys? Nice to see you here.
We are going to talk about tonight one ticker, one trade per day using a SPY strike zone strategy that is currently delivering a 91% win rate. And I say currently because Voz started trading this at the very beginning of the year. And so this is over the lifetime of this product. We don't cherry pick things here. Over the lifetime of this product, this strategy, it has a 91% win rate. Let me know in the chat if you guys know anything else that has a win rate that high, because that, if you're a trading regular, is extremely rare. Most traders usually live in the 50%, 60% win rate and can still have a really profitable strategy. But the win rate using SPY strike zones is significantly higher than that. And we're going to talk tonight, Voz, a little bit about why that is and why we think that that's going to continue.
Okay.
So, got to get this out of the way at the beginning. Official disclaimer. What this says and what this means is the information we show you here tonight, our opinions. The strategy we're going to show you is something that Voz uses. Anything that you decide to do with your own money because of this presentation tonight or because if you join, your own decisions. We're all adults here. You guys get how it is. Now, as we get started, Voz, I want to show everyone here something that happened today. So one of the beauties of the SPY strike zone is that it is daily. So Voz is always looking for these opportunities to trade. And this morning, she had a SPY strike zone. It was a call zone. And we're going to get into the details of this. So if I lose you at any point, don't worry. We're going to go through a bunch of examples. A strike zone is beautiful because it tells you when to buy and when to sell just by price movement on a stock. The stock is the SPY. That's why it's called a SPY strike zone. So the levels this morning were 591.87. That's where you should buy. And then 592.50. That's where you should sell. So this was a call zone. And as you can see, the SPY price moved perfectly within that zone. Entered. It was a quick move, about 10 minutes, but 31% gain on this trade today. And I know some SPY strike zone traders that did even better than that on this trade. So if you're sitting here tonight and you're thinking, what does this matter to me? What does this look like? This happened today. This is not an example from a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. This is from today. And tomorrow, Voz, you'll be looking for another strike zone. Same thing on Friday. Same thing on next Monday. So there are many, many opportunities to profit from SPY strike zones. Voz, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background, what brought you here to Option Pit, and fill in some people who may be new here and don't know you?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, guys. I am Olivia Voznenko, but we're friends now. You can call me Voz because that's what the guys on the trading floor used to call me and still call me. I am a trained day trading specialist. I also study volume patterns. I started out in private placement, investment banking after college right on Wall Street, not like proverbial Wall Street. I was straight up on Wall Street, and being in investment banking, while that sounds really fun, I started hanging out at the trading desk area, and I found that more interesting. And these guys taught me some of the best. I traded with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citadel throughout my career. And through that, I wanted to be in media to basically teach what I learned on Wall Street to the world, to the retail world, and bring it all together. So media is interesting for me. Trading's interesting for me, and I've had almost 2 decades of trading under the books. So really awesome to bring that to the retail world. I brought it all into fruition.
Absolutely. For those of you that are here tonight, we only have traders here at Option Pit and Trade to Close that have professional trading experience.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone that you see at one of these events has been professionally trained, has pro level experience trading.
Mm-hmm.
Boz, these are
Yeah.
your last 60 days trading the SPY strike zones. And we're going to talk a lot tonight about your track record, and we're going to show the entire thing. We're going to go through it with everyone. One of the most unique things about the SPY strike zone, and something that you and I have been talking about over the last few days, is how the price of your SPY strike zone trades has actually gone down. So if you look at the average price, and I'll just give you guys these numbers really quick. A lot of people, you sit here and you think, okay, does this apply to me? One of the first questions you ask is, how much do these trades cost? How do I actually use this? Is this something I can afford? Well, these trades are very affordable. Let me explain. In the month of April, there were about 15 trades. One contract for each of those trades costs $279. So if you just buy one contract, that's $279. That is an affordable trade. In the month of May, though, which we've made around 8 trades so far this month, your average cost Voz went down to $1.56. So if I bought one contract, that's $156. You pointed this out to me today. Why do you think, and why is it so important to pay attention to SPY strike zones right now with these cheaper trades on the table?
So when I started tracking these trades, they were very inexpensive cost wise. They were very expensive. Still making a lot of money, but cost wise, it was cheap to get in. Then when the market started to, like in, let's say, February, March, the market went through a big hardship. I know a lot of you guys are probably really frustrated. Like, why am I getting stopped out of my positions? Everything looks like it's going to break out, break down. There's no like follow through.
Right.
That caused the market to give us very expensive options. We were still crushing the track record, like making sure that we capitalize on those and have wins. But you got to put a little more gum in the game. Now the market, with VIX going lower and implied volatility going lower, we're able to get into these options again at like, I mean, it's unreasonably cheap. It's so inexpensive. I mean, at the start of the day when like theta is exploding, we're getting in at like 70 cents a contract max. It's awesome.
Voz, you could trade anything across the entire market, and you choose to trade the SPY. Let's talk a little bit about why that is, and let's walk people who may be super green to trading what the SPY is and why that is your chosen vehicle to make money every day.
Well, it's very liquid. As a swing trader, sometimes I get frustrated because, you can find a really great chart setup and you can't get filled, or, you kind of have to wait to the guessing game.
Right.
SPY is always working on our side. Okay. SPY is easily the most liquid. It is the most liquid, not just the most liquid ETF that follows the S&P 500. It's the most liquid options chain. So if you guys that trade options out there, you know that, sometimes you're, waiting to put your order out or offers out or whatever the case is, you will get filled immediately. So you are always participating if the target is triggered or the target hits.
And honestly, there's nothing more stressful than sitting there and maybe even you're sitting on a win and you're trying to sell it and you
Oh
can't get
gosh.
rid of the options trade. I
No,
mean, that's the worst feeling ever. So trading the SPY, what I'm hearing is that's not a problem.
it's not a problem. I mean, you can look at chat. I see some gamers in the chat as well. There's not no, it's not a problem. And it's great because I hate the feeling of FOMO. There's no FOMO when
Sure.
you're trading SPY. You're in and you're out at the times that you need to be in and out of a trade. That's it.
One of my favorite pieces of the SPY strike zone and one of a lot of members' favorite piece, Voz, is that unless you get the setup you want, you don't take the trade. So you really only swing at strikes. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in just a second. But there are really three key reasons why you're able to have such a high win rate right now. Again, 91%. That means you're winning every 9 out of 10 trades. That's crazy. So I
Mhm.
want to walk through these really quick. First of all, if you're new to trading, you may not know this, but today and for the last year and a half, the number of trades every single day, more options are traded than stocks. That happened in 2022. So for the first time, there were more options traded in a day than stocks. And right now, option volume is the highest it's ever been. That's
Mhm.
important for trading the SPY strike zone because it means that these can move quickly and it's exaggerating the stock move that the SPY can make. So, translation for you and your trading Voz, that means quicker wins. There's more people piling in and more momentum. The SPY can move faster, more quickly than it used to be able to. We saw that this morning. It was like a 10-minute trade, 15-minute trade, 31% win. We could move
Mhm.
very quick. The second is SPY options right now are relatively the cheapest they've ever been. So Vaj just showed you this a little bit, walking through what the pricing looked like a month ago versus now. When the market quiets down and when we see volatility come down, which has come down a bit from where it was a month ago, the price of these almost got cut in half from like 279 was the average trade in April to like 150 is the average trade in May. Makes it easier for an option to double when it's cheaper.
Mhm.
And the third is there are more SPY option sellers than ever before. And Mark is really the specialist on this piece, and we'll probably have a follow up event next week about this. But what you need to know, and what I want you to take away from this one slide, is that if you know SPY strike zones and you trade them, your timing could not be better. And if this is the first time you're learning about SPY strike zones, your timing couldn't be better. There are three key reasons why this is the best time to trade SPY strike zones. Now, Voz, I would say over the last 6 months, we've had a pretty volatile market. Would you say?
Yeah, it's been a like S show.
Yeah.
No, it
without,
really
without,
has been.
right.
It has been. I look. I mean, depending on what you're trading, it's been a frustrating and it's been a very volatile situation where you're sometimes think that something's going to follow through and it doesn't, and people get stopped out all the time. Yeah, it's frustrating. I would call it a frustrating market.
Absolutely. So we put the different types of SPY environments really into three different boxes. You can have trending days, you
Hmm.
can have ranging days, and you can have choppy days. Now, we're going to take 2 minutes. And for you guys that are here, pay attention to the next few slides while we walk you through these three types of SPY environments. It's really important to understand when you can make money. So let's talk a little bit about a trending market, Boz.
Hmm.
What are some characteristics of a trending day in the SPY?
Yes, and I like how you specify trending day. We're looking at each specific day because as a day trader and how we use these this service is we're compartmentalizing every single day as a different market. We don't
Right.
care if it's, going up for the long run or going down for the long run because sometimes that can cloud your present mode, and it if you're an options trader, you can get kind of messed up. So let's look at specific trending days. A trending day, Hannah and chat, is when the market basically picks a direction. Easier said than done, but you can see in number one,
Right.
this is a very clear channel lower.
Right.
That's it.
You could think of it kind of like a staircase, whether it's up
Sure.
or it's down.
Mhm.
It's taking graduated steps the whole time.
Yes.
Second is ranging.
Right.
What does a ranging market look like?
So ranging actually is one of the hardest to trade because you kind of start to see a direction and then it peters out. So you have to be very like cognizant of your entry and your exit because you don't want to just like let this go hanging and then you think that's going to go up for the rest of the day when in fact it starts to stabilize, and then if you're an options trader again, your position is going to go to zero. That's not fun.
Definitely not. So we have
Mhm.
trending,
Mm-mm.
that stair step, ranging. There's a little bit more movement, but it's kind of going in a direction. And then our third type is choppy, which
This is a mess.
looks exactly like it sounds.
This is a market that I was trained to actually avoid at all costs. Just letting you know. You don't have to, but usually when you start seeing these, giant candles, and candles meaning, you're seeing those giant big red movements, big green movements, you can't find a direction. It's hard to trade. Very difficult.
Well, one of the beauties of SPY strike zones and the fact that you only enter trades that fit your criteria for the trade is that you can afford to be picky. So, no matter which SPY environment, you've made profits in a trending SPY, in a
Mhm.
ranging SPY, and a choppy SPY. So, some of them may be harder to trade than others for most people, but you're actually able to hit winning trades in every single type.
I don't like being told no. And so I tried to find out a way to trade any single environment. And we've been getting a lot of those environments, and I want to trade. So yeah, I'm very picky at when to enter and when to take a trade and when to not take a trade. But I want to trade all of these. So that's why I nailed it down to find a way to get a high probability return on any environment.
And every day, like you said, presents a new opportunity. So
Mhm.
one of the things that's so beautiful about SPY strike zones is you get to reset every morning. You're not trading overnight, you're not doing swing trades. Like the daily SPY strike zones that you look at, you are evaluating what you see that morning.
Mhm.
And then by the end of the day, you're out of the trade. So while a lot of people, I think, have seen a lot of pain and felt a lot of pain in their trading, in as crazy as the market has been, that hasn't really affected you with the SPY strike zones. You still have a 91% win rate because you get to
Mhm.
reset every day.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it. I think that everyone should appreciate your services because everyone is going to have a hot streak, right? I mean,
Sure.
think of your services as your own little businesses that are working for you, and you don't want to turn your back on anything. But I like to think of what we're doing, what this really is a personal like hedge fund for the retail trader. That is my goal to have for you.
When you say that personal hedge fund for the retail trader, what do you really mean by that? So, like, if
I'm
someone's running a fund, how do they treat it versus how does a retail trader normally trade?
so basically like going back to our previous conversation about okay, a lot of like swing traders. I'm a swing trader too, by the way. I know there's a lot of swing traders. You're looking at opportunities of like trend trading. All
Right.
right, well, there's this macro environment. There's this catalyst coming up. There's a lot of different factors that can support or deplete a trend or like a movement. Where what I do is I put it in a perspective each day. So let's say the trend really, maybe you are right on a right trend. Maybe we're both on a right trend for our swing trades. For that day, as we just discussed, those three different scenarios, that day can be different. And
Right.
you could maybe be riding a trend higher, but that day is negating that.
Sure.
Well, that's when we come in as a strike zone and say, all right, look, for this particular moment, we
Right.
actually are going lower. And so you can see maybe your portfolio, which could be doing very well, could be very strong. Maybe it's
Sure.
a little red that day, your stocks are, but we will be green because we're kind of finding that particular scenario to capitalize on for that day.
Absolutely. So
That's how I look at it.
you have an ability to really zero in on the best opportunity, kind of
Yeah,
no matter where it is.
of course. Mm-hmm.
One of the things I want to point out, and we're gonna show you guys some examples of this and of SPY strike zones in action in just 1 minute, is Voz has a 91% win rate, but these aren't 2%, 3%, 4% winners. Her average return per trade is 60%. So, and that includes the losses. So every time a trade is put on, she is averaging 60% return, which beats the S&P so far this year by 5 times.
That's my
So,
biggest competition.
right. We love it. A competitive sense is great for someone that is going to mentor you into trading. You
Mhm.
want that. Because Voz is going to attack the market every day. So, Voz, let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of a strike zone. So, you really have, when we talk about this and we say SPY strike zones, every morning, maybe it's before market open, maybe it's a little after the market open, you're sending out these zones. There's
Mhm.
2 types of zones, and you're
Mhm.
only trading the SPY, but you have what we call a call zone and a put zone.
Mhm.
Can you explain the difference between the 2 of those?
Sure. So between 9 and 10 o'clock, I will send out 1 or 2 zones. The first one is a call zone. This is a zone that we're expecting the market to enter and go higher. And basically, the product that you buy is a call option because that supports the efforts of the market going higher and it leverages
Right.
our percent gains to when we see that market go higher. So you get, all right, we'll get a fixed price of we're going to go higher into this space and it's going to reach this target to the upside. That's a call zone. Then there's a put zone. Sometimes we'll have one, sometimes we don't. A put zone is the exact opposite. This is something that we're looking for the market to go lower. So let's say we open here and we're looking for the market to start here or enter here and then actually end here. With that, we buy a put, which is supporting the efforts of the market to go lower and leverage on that.
The important thing that you want to remember here, you guys, is that Voz in this strategy is not selling options. A lot of times people do that on a day-to-day basis to try to collect income. This is not that. There can be some real drawdowns to selling options. It can go well under the right strategy, but this is not that. We're buyers of options. So sometimes Voz is going to bet that the market will go up, and sometimes she's going to bet that the market will go down. And we're going to show you some examples of this in just a minute. But first, I want to give you an analogy. If we have any baseball fans out there, this should drive it home for you. Mark is a Cubs fan, so hopefully he's still here watching this. Let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of a strike zone. So, in baseball, there's a zone where the pitcher has to throw strikes. If it doesn't go in that zone, it's not a strike. And if I'm the batter, if I'm going to swing, you want to swing the most at strikes that come into the zone. It's easier to hit them. You're more likely to hit a home run. Now, what you do with SPY strike zones, Voz, and the reason why we call it a strike zone is because you have created a strategy where you only swing at strikes. So basically, on any given day, the trade that has the highest probability to win, you've pinpointed that, and you only want to make a trade if the conditions perfectly fit. So some days, if you give a strike zone and the SPY price doesn't move into there, we just don't have a trade. And that doesn't mean that we don't have a trade 90% of the time. We're trading probably 60% of the time we have a zone. But for you guys that are here tonight and as members, it's important that you understand this because you're not chasing trades. With this strategy, Voz only swings at strikes, and you will only swing at strikes. So let's look at some examples of these strikes that you've hit, Voz. All the examples we'll show you guys, these are real trades. They are from the last 6 months. So when we talk about this 91% win rate, these are all a piece of the strategy. So let's look at this first one. And it starts every morning with this alert.
Okay, so here is what you get as a member. You'll get your alert. This one was very early. It's 7:35 a.m. Game plan. We have a put zone. We just went over what a put zone is. So we're expecting the market to go lower and then hit our target even further. The put zone for this day was 544.84 to 543.67. When SPY has a clean break into the zone, what you're going to do is you're going to buy to open this put. That was the April 30th, 544 put. Your chance to sell is when SPY reaches the end of the zone.
Right. So if we look at this on an actual chart, for those of you guys who may be some visual learners in the room, I can relate. This is what a put zone might look like. And again, as Voz highlighted, you want to buy the option when you enter the zone and sell it when you exit the zone. So let's look at on this day, April 30th. How did this unfold?
Okay, so as we predicted and as we had this set up, SPY did enter that put zone. And so you could see that red candle, that red movement into what Hannah defined as the zone, the physical zone. We had a nice clean break into there. You're in. You're ready to trade. You buy that put that we recommended on that email. So this contract was 193. That's 193 bucks for the SPY put. We're in as we triggered. Then we sell the puts when it exits the zone. You know exactly when to exit because we put it already in that AM email.
Right.
So with that, you don't need to wait for another alert. You know when to buy, you know when to sell, and you made, my friend, 105% on that April trade.
A lot of you guys that are here today, I bet this isn't your first time coming to one of these presentations or buying perhaps a trading strategy. So hopefully you can relate to some of the problems that we try to solve with this strategy. Namely, you don't have to wait around for a sell alert. When you get that first message right in the morning, it has all the information you need to complete the trade. So there's no missing alerts, having a winning trade that turns against you. You know the entire setup the second that you get the first email. So you can actually set this up on your own. And some of your members actually do that, Voz, and you train them and show them how to do this. You can set your brokerage and your chartage so that it sends you alerts when SPY reaches certain levels, so you know when to enter or exit, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Look, I mean, I like to be there and like check it out personally because I I'm on my computer and I find it exciting. But yes, you can set with your brokerage. Hey, when SPY reaches this price point, automatically buy this option that was recommended in the email, automatically sell it when it reaches the end of that target. Very cool.
This is something that Voz teaches too. So if you're watching this and thinking, I don't know how to do this, that's something that you can learn in the SPY Strike Zone strategy with Voz. We're going to look at another example. And if you have any questions, I want you to put them in the chat because Voz and I are going to address these as we go through this example. I want to make sure that you guys are getting this. Let's look at this trade. This is from April 10th, Voz.
Yep. Recent trade. SPY is approaching a put zone. The put zone in this scenario was 521.40 to 518.35. Again, when SPY enters this zone, you buy to open this exact put. That's the April 10, 519 put. This one's interesting. Your first target to sell is when SPY reaches the end of the zone.
Right.
However, if you have a couple, if you do like 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts, you can hold one contract for fun. I knew in this situation that it had like a high probability to continue to flush if we, start reaching those targets. And well, let's watch what happened, guys. Here we go. We set our put zone. Here's the put zone so you can, see it. 521.40, 518.35. It's a pretty nice, 2-point put zone. SPY opened all the way at 533. So I'm looking for a 10-point move lower to even trigger the trade. Some folks are like, that's never going to happen. Oh, honey, it did. Absolutely. No, when probability is on your side, you really got to focus on it. I know it's kind of a joke, but look, we had this 90% chance that it's going to enter our put zone and complete it. So check this out. 5-minute candle. We closed at 521.40. It triggered. Chat, the game plan chat was like, guys, we're in. We're ready to go. It's so exciting. As you could see, we continued. Our first target was reached. That's 43%, which I know is a lot for a day trade. However, as per email, let's hold some. And man, this thing flushed even more. This
Wow.
day was incredible. We closed those contracts at 7:10, Hannah.
Wow. So one of the things I want to point out here, Boz, and you do this sometimes
Mm,
as a trader, as someone who watches the markets on a daily basis, and this is something that's really hard to learn and to convey without experience. But there are some days, and this was a day where you had a feeling if it goes beyond the zone, you kind of gave an additional target. Guys, I think this could go further. So if you have a couple contracts and want to hold one a little bit longer, you can actually keep this. And it turned what would have been a 43% return, which is nothing to cry about, that's for sure, into 102% return. So when we really talk about maximizing your trades, like people spend time doing this. Let's make sure that your time is worth it. That's something that you bake in to all of these opportunities with your experience and with some additional targets on the trades.
Yes. If I see an additional target, I mean, obviously that's awesome. I'll let everyone know about it. And we had one recently too, where I'm like, you know what, guys, I see this going lower. Sell majority here, but keep one for a goof.
I saw someone asking about this in the chat, and this is a great point to make here. So when you enter the zone, Vaz, there is a magic formula to when you enter. And so all the charts we've shown people so far tonight are on the 5-minute candle for the SPY. Can you talk a little bit about that and your trigger for entry on the trade and why it specifically has to be a closing candle inside of the zone?
I'm a big advocate of looking at the 5-minute candles. I've taught a lot of my followers and members to get rid of the 1-second candles, 30-second candles, and really focus on where you can find, even within a day. We identified the little micro trends that were, our little hedge fund is making money on.
Right.
You can it's trading. Day trading is it's actually quite calm. And I can calm it down with, okay, we have our zone. Now let's look at the 5-minute candle. Once that 5-minute candle, which is quite chill, you have 5 minutes for it to confirm or
Right.
deny a trend that day. Let that close as in get into the zone, enter the zone, confirm that zone, and probability is now on your side that it will complete that zone plus more. The reason I do this is because I've noticed through back testing, and please, I love for you guys to be members, but as a trading humanitarian, like please use this, because what happens a lot is you can have you could see a trend, or you can have the candle enter the zone and it wicks, which means basically it traps all of these people and traders who think, oh my gosh, now we're going lower or we're going higher, and it will wick back up. You get that long stem.
Right.
What that does, it can absolutely reverse the trend. And that's where not only you get really chopped up, that's really bad trading.
Yeah.
You're a bad trader if you are in the reversal. If you go in that trend on the reversal, that's bad trading. That is bad trading. We've all done it. I know Chad has done it. I have done it. This is the way that you don't have to feel like a fool trading. You know that you were on the right side of the market and you're like, all right, here we go.
Completely. And so
Yeah,
many
that's what it is.
people, especially if you're a new trader, can have problems with entries, have problems with exits.
Mhm.
This solves that and takes all of the guesswork out. I love this. I just saw a comment in the chat from Mark9094. He said, if you use the 1 minute, you'll have a heart attack. That's true. There's a reason why Voz has chosen the 5-minute candle
Yes.
and uses this in these trades. Back testing, battle testing this. There have been over 60 trades, official trades using this strategy. And
Mhm.
in those 60 trades, she's generated a 91% win rate. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, does this work? How can you use it? The proof's right here. Let's look at another one, boss. This is from
It does-
April 24th. And then this was a call zone. So let's walk through this one.
Sure. Okay. So when SPY has game plan, baby, I was in a good mood that day. When SPY has a clean break into 538.76, buy to open the SPY April 24, 540 call. Your chance to sell is when SPY reaches around 541. So you have your zone. You know what to trade when you get in the zone. And I did a little bit of a caveat like, listen, the market's going crazy right now. Let's see what it gives us. Here's our call zone. I know this is a little redundant, guys, and I'm sorry, but like I think you guys get the point, but let's just do some more examples. Here's your call zone, 538.76 to 541. Nice call zone. SPY opens below. As you guys know, if we're looking at a call zone, we're looking for the market to go up. We get a nice 5-minute close. 5-minute close, the key takeaway of this webinar. Done. We're locked in. Chat's like, I'm in. What's your fill? What's your fill? What are we looking for to exit the end of the call zone? Boom. This was a beautiful trade. 80% profit in less than an hour. So, Hannah, one thing I want to mention is these are not like 30-second trades. Day trading has such a stigma. It's like, we're in, we're out. We're 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out. We're blah, 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 blah. No, this is a calm, collective way. And this is truly how you day trade strategically. They do this. We do this.
Right.
Within less than an hour.
100%.
Freaking out over here.
This trade was 30 minutes. And I would say on average, Voz, your hold time is usually between 30 minutes and an hour.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I see a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, we made 100% in 30 seconds. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good, but does it feel good? No,
Right.
it's about the user experience. Sure, this trade could have made 80% in 5 minutes. It happens. It happened today. We had a big 30% trade in 10 minutes, for instance. But like that's the least amount of time. It's not like we really need to be so actively watching this. I just want to say that because as an experience, that's what I want to give everyone.
100%, because you know what happens when somebody makes 100% in 30 seconds? Just one person
100% in
just
5 seconds.
Right, just one person makes 100% in 5 seconds. There's no possibility for anyone who is newer to trading or wants to capitalize on opportunity in the markets to be able to do that. Like that's extremely difficult, and that's not what we're chasing or doing here.
No.
These are trades that and a lot of times, like on this example, for instance, from April 24th, like you got the email with the level for this trade an hour before the trade happened.
Mhm.
So it's not like you get an alert and you have to enter it in 5 seconds. You have an hour. Like I could be brushing my teeth, dropping my kids off at school, reading the paper, whatever. You get your alert and you actually have some time to set it up. There's no rushing with this. And I love that you pointed that out. Like I think there's this stigma around day trading that it's hectic and impossible and frantic. And this is definitely not that.
Yeah, it's very chill, calm and collective. You know exactly what you're getting into before you get into it. And you know what to get out of before you get out of it.
Right.
That's it.
I want to highlight for you guys some SPY strike zone benefits. First of all, they're cheap, anywhere from $50 to 200, maybe up to $300 a trade if you only did one contract. But these are affordable trades, not $1,000, not 5,000, not 10,000 to actually be able to execute these. You can do these.
Mm-hmm.
You also only trade one ticker, which is a beautiful, seamless piece of this strategy that sometimes I think gets overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to watch things, even today, Voz. So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to the end of earnings season.
Mm-hmm.
Nvidia was today. Do you, because you trade the SPY strike zones, and I know you're an active trader, do you watch earnings? Do you care about the earnings, or do you only care about them as far as it affects the overall market?
They're not my problem.
Right. There's just no
Not for this. No.
100%. And if, as a trader, and especially a trader in the modern day, you guys are just inundated every day with information, whether it's, tariff news or earnings or, international conflict or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All this news all the time. And a lot of times these trades are in and out in the first few hours of the day. So you basically avoid a lot of that.
I do.
No
I
headache.
do. And Hannah, another thing I'll do is, hey, let's say there's some great setups that day. I will have emails. Your pre-market alert will say, look, there's an amazing strike zone. Just to let you know, there is some macro data hitting at 10 o'clock. So you could be in or around a zone and that macro data is hitting, or if there's a Fed speaker, that's okay. Just be aware that's happening.
Right.
It's okay. You still can trade it. Just be aware. So maybe it's going to be a little jumpy. That's all. That's all you need to just be aware of it, not scared of it or trade around it. That's not what we do.
These alerts, as you've seen several of them, they're easy to follow. Here's the exact prices. Here's the exact option to buy, the exact place to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the questions that I think drive people away from trading, you don't have those questions here. We already answer them in the alerts.
Mm-hmm.
Voz, and anyone can read what's on this slide, but I just want to ask you, because you've built and used trading strategies before, and I know that your goals were specific when you put together the SPY strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you were looking to alleviate a lot of the problems that other people have with alerts and using them. Can you just talk about that a little bit? Because I think it's very unique, the solution that you've created to try to solve some of these problems people have when they try to learn trading.
Yes, I have mentioned this before. I do the Shark Ninja strategy where because I have other services and I've traded other services and I have other strategies and I love them all. But I try to dig into, my goal is user experience, because that's what I do. I have a trading service. I want the user to have the best experience. It's not about the track record. It's not about that. It's not about, hey, I'm the greatest or we're the greatest. It's about, how does that user feel? So I wanted it to be the most intuitive, easy to follow strategy. Hey, I want to wake up. I want to know what I'm getting into. I want to know when I have to get out of it, and I want nothing else. That's it. Maybe focus on other things, whether it's other trades or golf. So the Shark Ninja, that's it.
Whatever your hobbies may be, no judgment here. You'll definitely still have time for them.
Well, it's true. I mean, sometimes we'll have members and they'll say, hey, just completed the zone, made my money. Now I can focus on the other trades for the day. Great.
Yeah, I saw some feedback from one of your members, and we'll look at some of this in just a minute. But he said, I'm a real estate agent and I'm showing a house. And I just showed up and I got my email about the zone, entered the trade, showed the house. 15 minutes later, I made enough money to pay for a haircut and my lunch and a tank of gas.
Done.
Exactly.
So the Shark Ninja strategy is, their research team is phenomenal, where they actually go into other comments from Amazon or whatever the case is, and they are trying to find the bad reviews of their competitors. So that's basically what I did. What are the bad reviews of other services, which are great services, but what can we help? What can we do to make the user have the best experience? And
Right.
yes, Hannah, the track record, it really is phenomenal. But that's the hedge fund mentality. It's going to be phenomenal.
Right.
What I care most about is I want it to be refreshing, easy to follow. And hey, if there's a loss, I know why I lost that day. If there's a win, I know why I won that day. I don't need to worry or think, or did I miss the alert? Did I not get the alert? No, you know exactly what you're getting into. So I kind of like taking that emotion out of it mostly and making it very mechanical. That is
100%.
what we are. Does the game plan work for you that day? It should. It has been, and it has a great probability so I can sleep at night and do my own stuff.
Right. And overnight, I'm not stressing about, did
No.
news come out? How's it going to affect my trades? What's going to
Mm-mm.
happen?
No, we don't
You're
worry
in and out in a single day. So you
Right.
don't have to stress at all overnight.
No.
Here's a summary for you guys, and I'll actually pull up the full track record in just a minute and go through it with you. I'll show you guys the portfolio that Voz uses for SPY
Sure.
Strike Zone. So we'll go through the whole thing. But I just want to show this. If you would have put $1,000 in every trade so far this year, and this is just since the beginning of January, you could have generated $36,890. If you would have just put $100, that's still $3,689. So I know some of you have some questions. I want to get into, how can you do this? What does this look like to do this now? Because you
Mhm.
guys have the ability to join this strategy starting tomorrow, because this is a daily strategy. So let's look a little bit at some of the responses from some people. Hold on, my slides got a little messed up here, Boz. I just want to make sure that I'm going through the full thing here.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. We're good.
We're good.
I don't want anyone to miss anything. It's important. Okay, let me just turn this back on really
Yeah,
quick.
for sure.
So when you guys actually join SPY Strike Zones, and I'm sure a lot of you have questions still, like, okay, is this for me? Can I actually do this? What would this really look like?
Mhm.
So I want to give you the opportunity to hear a little bit from people who are actually doing this. So let me show you this, and you can read some of their responses. And some of them may be here tonight. So if this is you and you're here tonight, please chime in the chat. If you are actually using SPY Strike Zones with Voz, tell us a little bit about this.
Mhm.
Justin, I pulled up the screen again. Can you pop this up on the? Okay, here we go. We're back in biz.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys can read a little bit about this, and Voz highlighted already a lot of the benefits. You guys get it. It's easy. It's simple. It's executable. This is a strategy that you can actually learn how to use, and it works. Here's
Mhm.
some feedback from people making money, even people that are brand new.
Yeah.
I love to highlight this guy up top. And this testimonial, this isn't one we picked out. There are hundreds of these. He said, I've been here for a few weeks and have found that if I have the patience to follow the game plan rules, the ROI has been fantastic. So when I've lost money, the issue's been me, not the game plan, which
Mhm.
everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
The beauty of a 91% win rate is even if you fumble a couple, you're still going to be profitable.
Mhm.
So when somebody joins game plan, and Boz, we're going to walk through this.
Okay.
Let's talk about what everyone gets. So we already went through, you're going to get the daily SPY Strike Zones. That means each morning I'll get an email, and you can set up your phone to get messages on it as well. If you are mobile, moving around in the mornings, no problem. We can make sure that you're going to get the alerts.
Mhm.
You'll have that call zone, the put zone, and the exact trade that you will need to enter. So let's look at this one was from this morning. You can see the exact alert that Voz
Yeah.
sent out.
Mhm.
And this resulted in that 31% winner we showed you guys earlier. But this leaves nothing up to chance. She says right off the bat, narrow call zone this morning. The exact levels of SPY that we want to break to
Mhm.
actually get into the trade. And again, like she said, if you take away one thing, that 5-minute candle. When that 5-minute candle closes inside of the zone, we are buying the trade, and you can see the exact strike here. And then when you hit the other side, you are selling. So
Right.
you're going to get these every morning. But let's talk about some of the other stuff that we haven't featured yet.
Okay.
You guys are going to get a live portfolio. So every single trade that Voz makes every single strike zone. And there's some other trades that are also a part of this service that we'll talk about in just a second. But every single trade is logged in a portfolio. So you can track every alert. Say you go out of town for a week, you're not actively trading, you want to come back and see how the trade alerts did. All of this is logged inside of the live portfolio. We are not hiding any results here.
That's
we want
fair.
you to be able to see everything. And you can actually track your own returns inside of here. There is a masterclass Voz that you put together. So Mark, who opened the event here tonight, who's the CEO of the Option Pit, he trades game plan and helps you with the game plan strategy. And you guys did a game plan masterclass, which was basically 7 courses. And when you initially launched game plan, you did this live, but we have this stored inside of our members only platform where you guys can get access to all of these courses. So you'll learn everything from the logistics of the trade to how to trade this with less than 25K. So if you don't have day trading necessarily ability above the PDT, how do you do this? We
Right.
address that for you.
Yes. And
We
another cool one is, let's say there's like not a game plan. I'll show people how to set their, let's say there's not a game plan that day, how people can set their charts up like mine and trade zones on find different zones on their own.
One of the pieces that's a beauty of this is you don't have to trade every day. I mean, if I can have a 91% win rate and I don't have to trade every single day, I'm good with that. You don't need to trade when you have a win rate like that. We are also adding to the game plan. This is a new addition, these weekly live meetups. So starting next Monday, June 2nd at 1 p.m., you guys are going to have, so if you're a gamer and you're here, get excited. You guys are going to meet weekly with Mark and Voz together, live, unfiltered every Monday. You guys will do some live trading. You'll go over the recent track record, review some trades. You'll be able to do a live Q&A. So if you're saying, I want to do this, but I have questions, don't sweat it. You'll be able to sit with Mark and Voz every Monday and actually ask them questions in the room. And this is a smaller group setting. It's not 10,000 people in a room. You'll actually be able to ask questions and they're going to answer them. Voz, one of the coolest things about game plan is the community. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like in that room? People do have 24/7 access to a chat room and it's always buzzing in there.
Oh, it is buzzing. Look, I don't know what I mean, I love drawing just like good traders, interesting traders who are experienced, maybe a little more beginners. We are a true trading desk virtual. And that was one of the things I wanted to manifest for this service, because I wanted all the retail traders, because this is like, a day trading, like kind of like your little personal hedge fund. There's a little bit of smack talk, a lot of helping. It's a giant family in there. It is very active. I thought that was normal because that's what I'm used to, physically working at a trading desk. Everyone's like, wow, your chat is fun. Everyone's helping each other. Everyone's making friends. I see a lot of gamers in here. And so everyone asks questions, everyone answers questions, has the opportunity to kind of joke around. It truly is like a virtual trading desk. It's great. I love hanging in there. And Mark and I are in there all the time answering questions and hanging out there too. I love our community.
We have 3 special bonuses for you guys here tonight. There's actually, Mark does some additional alerts on something called XSP, which is just a 10th of the SPY. So you can actually get into certain trades for cheaper and you don't even have to close them because they're cash settled. They'll teach you about this. This is a big bonus of this strategy.
Yeah.
Voz and Mark also do weekly SPY strike zones. What that means is you can still do a swing trade here. So here's the track record. You can see it on the screen of the weekly SPY strike zones. If you want a little slower pace and you want to be able to add those swing trades, you can actually get more game plans on a weekly basis. So we're including that tonight for you guys. Yeah. And the third bonus is Voz is going to do a live get started class with you guys next Wednesday, June 4th. And what this
Mhm.
means is if you join tonight and you get all your premiums and all this stuff, and you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, no sweat. Come to our Getting Started class, which will be next Wednesday, and Voz is going to give you all the pointers. She's going to walk you through the rules, the best practices to get the best returns, exactly when you don't want to trade, exactly when her conviction on a trade is maybe the highest, and even how to set up your charts so they look just like Voz's. So she's going to cover all of that with you guys next week. So if you join the game plan tonight, you're going to get everything we've talked about already, plus these 3 bonuses. So let's talk a little bit about this value.
Okay.
On your screen right now, you guys are going to see a full summary. So you can see everything included in the membership, okay? Normally, this is $29.99 a year. So $2,999. I mean, you're live once a week. You're getting potentially daily trades, the courses, the community, etc. And we get people to actually take that price. But tonight, as a discount, we're going to give you guys 33% off. So that's $1,999 for an annual membership. Now, if you guys have questions, so right above Voz in my head right now, you'll see a black button. It's kind of jiggling. It says click to join. If you click that, it'll take you to the order form. The order form is really simple. You just need normal information, your name, address, etc. And you can actually join the game plan through that. If you're old-fashioned or lonely or would like to just talk to someone, we have a great team on the phones. There's a phone number on your screen right now. You can call that number and actually talk to our team. They'll handle your payment over the phone. They'll see if you have any credits maybe available here at Option Pit that we could apply to this. So you can use that phone number on your screen and actually give us a phone call if you have any questions. If you have questions that you'd like to ask in the room, you guys can throw them in the chat. Voz and I are going to stick around for probably 10, 15 minutes and we'll answer some of your questions. So now's your chance. I think we've answered a lot of questions throughout this presentation. But if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I still want to know about this or this or this, please ask. And Voz, I'm going to throw you the first question.
Sure.
I know you have a lot. At this point, I think you're up to nearly 1,000 members of the game plan.
Yeah, we have a lot of members.
Yeah,
It's exploded.
It's great. So one of the concerns, another concern that people sometimes have when they join a trading strategy is, okay, if there's a bunch of members, am I actually still going to be able to get in the trades? Can you talk a little bit about that and the SPY's liquidity and the fact that that's basically not a concern for you?
Oh yeah, that is why we're leading this with SPY, because I want that nobody's left out feeling where, you have I want everyone to have the opportunity to participate.
Right.
One of the things that we also do, and another stigma about day trading, is I'm seeing people talk about if I don't have 25,000 or more in my account, I can't day trade. That is not true. You can absolutely still day trade with this strategy and have just as much liquidity as our other members and have that as much participation as other members. We teach that in one of the classes, how to participate using other strategies that's not necessarily for those that have $25,000 or more in their account. You could start with $500 in your account. You can set it up where you can participate in the strategy. Another thing, Hannah, that I want to say, a lot of our members are, they're one of the best comments I get is, Voz, this strategy teaches me to not be emotional, to not jump the gun, to just be calm, cool, and collective. I had to learn the rules a little bit and chill out. That is one of the best takeaways that you can have, because in this scenario, you start small, and as probability and our track record helps you generate more money, then you can start playing with more contracts. That is the clever way to trade. We're not looking to make 100% and then lose 100% and then lose 100% and make 500% and lose 100%, 100% and then gain. That's chaotic. This is a calm, cool, collective way to generate wealth for your account in smart, collective ways.
You can even, and Voz, you might cover this in the Getting Started class next week, but I mean, a lot of people talk about trading as income. Okay, how do I make this something that I can actually generate income on a regular basis?
Mm-hmm.
If you're using this, it is a very active strategy, but you can pay yourself as you go. So, say you start with a $5,000 account and you trade this strategy for 3 months, okay? In and out, daily SPY strike zones, some call zones, some put zones. You're going to generate a certain amount in that time frame. You can basically take that out, pay yourself. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have house money in that account that you've already made, and that's what you're trading perhaps for the next quarter. So you can talk about that a little bit, but I totally agree that this isn't supposed to be high stress, high difficulty, high intensity. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be matter of fact. And you want it to be something like, let's be honest, you guys that are here tonight, we still have over 200 people in this room. Why are you guys here? Why do you trade? Tell me in the chat. Some people, maybe you do it because it's fun. You want a hobby. Okay. Some people maybe do it because they like the community or they like learning something new with trading. Seriously, tell me in the chat. Why do you trade? Vaz, why do you trade?
Why do I trade? Because
Why do you trade?
I want to compound my money.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, whether you have a salary or whatever, you have income coming in and you want that to go a little further.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do with that? Well, there's a couple ways you can put your money to work for you. You can hand it to a financial advisor, which a lot of people do. And I'll be honest, I do that. There's a portion of my income that I give to a financial advisor because most people you don't want to worry about it. You want to just let them handle it. But to be honest, every year, every quarter when I get that report and I had to pay the financial advisor a certain amount to do that service for me,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel great, you know? This is something where you learn to do these trades and you keep 100% into your bank account. So if you're looking for a way to make your money go a little further, I'm seeing some feedback in the chat. Michael says, I trade for the money. Clay says, supplemental income in retirement. Mike says, learning a new skill set to replace an old skill set. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Rain says, earning money to build my rescue ranch. Yeah, some of you have projects you want to do. You might have grandkids you want to take on vacations. You have things you want to do, and you just want your money to go a little further.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you found another strategy out there that has more than a 90% win rate? Seriously, tell me if you have. I will go talk to the trader myself.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have the confidence to put these trades on a daily basis. Every trade you put on, you have a 9 out of 10 confidence behind you. That's over 6 months of trading. 9 out of 10 are winning. You guys should feel very confident going into this strategy. 100%. 100%. And if you go into Voz's chat room, and Voz, you can back me up on this, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show some more testimonials
Sure.
from people in your rooms. But people have very high conviction in this when they're going into the trades, and they believe in this community. I love these. The community is what makes a difference. Bouncing ideas, sharing knowledge, and lost success stories is great to have. Totally. There's nothing better than having a trade that didn't work out or one that did, and you have a room you can go to and talk to about it. There's nothing better.
Look, again, I know the track record. It really is awesome. And that is I know that's the most probably interesting part of the service. If you guys are looking to join today, what I want to do, because I'm, a control freak, is I just want traders to genuinely be good traders. I don't want them seeing stuff that is like fugazi, where they're just like highlighting these like amazing wins and they have the wrong perception. You can be a good trader. It takes a little experience and it takes a little conditioning, but that's why we have the classes. That's why we have the rules. That's why I made this so it is user friendly. And so if you're looking to, if you're interested in day trading, or you're looking to take part of our track record, whatever the case is, or our community, check us out. Check us out for, a week. We do have if it's not for you, we'll give you a refund. There's no problem. I don't want anyone in there that doesn't want to be in there. I want you guys to truly experience how I experienced it. Get thrown in the fire, see what it's like to day trade, understand probability is on your side, be refreshed by that, and then also find that it's not this like in out kind of situation. Day trading can be very conditional, it can be mechanical, and you can kind of just set it and forget it and have the trade just work for you while you do other things. So I would love for you guys to join. We're going to have a trade tomorrow. One is cooking right now. Nvidia earnings are pumping up the Qs, which for our weekly trade, that is working very well for us. And if you guys were short Nvidia and you want the Qs to go down, hey, maybe a SPY strike zone will be available to short tomorrow and be like, hey, this is great. Or it will go higher and you could see your account green tomorrow. It's very mechanical. There's no emotions. We will teach you how to be this way, because that is truly what the cream of the crop traders are doing. Whether you do this for a hobby or like Rain's Rescue Center, or whatever you want to build. Once you understand the process of making money and find an obsession with that and find that working for you, that is when you have found gold. So come join us. We'll be hanging out tomorrow. Hannah will be there. Mike Anthony is there. You can see our game planners are there right now. I love how someone in chat is asking for a lifetime plan. Okay, well, they're signed on. Right now, we're just offering an annual membership, but maybe try us out and then we'll see about it, Delab.
We might wink have something coming that we could hook you up with. We'll see. If you call us on the phone and ask about it, we may be able to work something out for you. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you guys, I see a bunch of you on the order form. I see new orders coming in. How many of you guys are in on the game plan? How many of you guys joined tonight? Tell me in the chat. I joined. I want to see your usernames and I want to recognize you guys tomorrow in the 24/7 chat room when we have the first alert. So let me know in the chat. Are you guys in? Voz, there's a question here from Michael Walker. He said, Voz, what platform do you trade on? Is it Ninja Trader? Where do you actually make your trades? What do you use?
I use Thinkorswim. I've used Interactive Brokers when I was actually doing the strategy trading shares. And then when Mark Sebastian entered my life and we collabed on finding leverage with using this strategy that I've been doing forever with options, because now options are traded every day, which is really cool about SPY strike zones.
Totally.
I found that Thinkorswim is easier for me to use. So that's what I use. I know people who use Robinhood. I know people who use other brokerage, Fidelity, but my favorite is Thinkorswim for this.
One of the beauties too of being inside of a chat room like that is if you use a certain brokerage and love it and want to use it, I bet other people use it and you can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So that is that's definitely normal to be able to use the community.
And I don't like how some people talk smack about Robinhood. I absolutely don't find Robinhood a problem at all. If you use Robinhood, come join us. No shame.
Guys, you said that you're looking for a trade tomorrow. We have some people. Hawks911 said, I joined last week. I see some other new members coming through. Is there anything that you would like to leave the room with here tonight?
Sure.
Before you have some new trades this week?
Use the 5-minute candle. Find the path to the least resistance. Tomorrow, it will be up. So we will most likely be issuing a call zone tomorrow. Doesn't mean we won't have a put zone, but I always look for the path of least resistance. That should be up. We had the same trade today. We made money on that open, and that's what I'm looking to do tomorrow.
Any final questions from you guys? Throw them in the chat. Again, use this black button with the white writing. It says click here to join. It's wiggling right above my head. Click on that. That'll take you to the order form. Super easy. Just fill out some of your basic info and you can actually process that order. Or, like I said, you can call our team. That phone number is 888-872-3301. We have a fabulous team. They'll get you all set up and ready to rock by tomorrow. Beauty of this strategy is you don't have to wait. It starts tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, I will be bothering you tomorrow morning. So sorry, but the best part is I will be in and out of your email within that email, and you won't hear from me the rest of the day. You'll know exactly what to do. And I'm excited to start trading with you guys tomorrow.
Boz, thanks so much for coming on tonight. I'm
Yeah,
super excited about the game plan and the way that this strategy fulfills our CRT that we talked about earlier. This is one of the most teachable strategies that we offer. Like you talked about this earlier, you try to keep it as simple as possible. These are easy call and put trades. You have all the information you need to set it up. This, for me, as the director of new product development, is the peak of a teachable strategy. So for anyone who's new here tonight, and I get it, like you may not be able to do this tonight. I understand. But for anyone who's here, and if you're really seriously considering starting to trade and trade actively, this is the strategy I would start with. You're not going to find another one that's more teachable. I mean, this is exactly where you should be to start. And you see this in a lot of your feedback from members, Voz. You'll have people that are like, I'm new to this. They'll be making money in their first week or first 2 weeks. So that's a real possibility with this strategy.
It's right. I mean, we get that comment a lot, which is the golden comment. Oh, I just paid for this. I paid for, my year in like 1 week, which I do see a lot. What I want you to, again, to get for the first week, just try us out. You'll learn a lot. We have those classes. You can learn how to set it up, how to trade mechanically.
Right.
Your takeaway is, how can I start to get into day trading? Because there's a lot out there. And I think that this is, since it's so, you enter the zone, buy the zone, sell the zone. That's honestly all you do. I don't want to overcomplicate it. That will help you get your feet on the ground and become, a better trader in general for this strategy or on your own. Come hang out. We're cool.
Coming out. We're cool. It's daily. There's always opportunity to make money. And like we talked about a bit earlier, there's never been a better time to be a member of SPY Strike Zones and to join the game plan, because these trades are cheaper and they're happening every single day. So
yeah,
Boz, I'll let you get off to check out the Panthers. I don't know how it's going so far.
Let's go Cats. Let's go Cats.
Visibility.
Hey, Hannah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight and letting me come on your show this evening. I do have to go watch the Cats, go Panthers, and I see we have a lot of people joining. So your first trade, you'll hear from me tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Voz. Thank you so much to the audience. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow as a game plan member.
Let's go. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.